In today's original episode, we talk about a much-anticipated sequel, namely Joker 2, Folie, Deux, with the first movie becoming the most successful R-rated movie of all time. Fans and critics are now eagerly awaiting the sequel's release next year. Now that shooting has started in December, it is just the right time to talk about everything we know thus far about the plot, the cast, and the production. In addition, we pick up on the hottest rumors for the sequel. We also include information about the previous film, so please be aware that there might be spoilers for Joker 1. We hope you enjoy our new original. Joker from 2019 is about the outsider Arthur Fleck, who lives with his mother and keeps himself above water with occasional jobs in Gotham City. After an attack, he receives a revolver from his colleague Randall for self-defense, and his troubles become increasingly serious. Eventually, Arthur kills 3 men in a subway who harassed him due to his clown outfit. He later learns that mayoral candidate Thomas Wayne is supposed to be his biological father, and to top it all off, his beloved mother suffers a stroke. From this point on, things start going downhill for Arthur. In a TV show, he also gets called Joker for the first time after having laughed out of control constantly during a stand-up performance. Events eventually come thick and fast as Arthur confronts his supposed father, Thomas Wayne, and realizes through a stolen medical record from Arkham Asylum that he was merely adopted by his narcissistic mother. He also comes to understand that even his romantic relationship with his neighbor was pure imagination. At the end of the movie, Arthur finally appears on a TV show made up as a clown and shoots the host in front of running cameras, which in turn leads to a riot in Gotham City. During this riot, Thomas Wayne and his wife are seen being murdered in an alley by one of the rioters. The only one remaining is their son, Bruce Wayne. In the end, Arthur is seen talking to a psychiatrist at Arkham Asylum before fleeing from the guards. After the short recap of the first part, now let's focus on Joker Folie, Deux. Contrary to expectations, the first film made such massive waves that it was soon clear a second part was to come. Besides many theories, which we will discuss next, there are 2 big clues as to how the plot will unfold. First, you can already derive quite a lot from the officially confirmed title. Folie, Deux is a psychiatric term that translates as madness shared by 2. In simple terms, it concerns a person who suffers from delusions. These delusions can be transmitted to a second healthy but mentally unstable person if both individuals are close. Once both people are ill, they may even reinforce each other's delusions and make the entire matter worse. After that, the disease can only be treated if both individuals are separated from each other. If we now apply this clinical picture to Joker Folie, Deux, the distribution of roles quickly becomes clear. Arthur is the one who suffers from delusions and passes them on to another person. This other person is none other than Dr. Harleen Quinzel, who works as a psychiatrist at Arkham Asylum. She is probably better known by her later name, Harley Quinn, which she uses to instill terror in Gotham City. However, before that, she falls madly in love with Arthur Fleck, and thus forms a close bond with him, the first requirement for the transmission of the mental disorder. She also eventually develops delusions, and enters into an extremely toxic relationship with Arthur, which is also largely in keeping with the comic book original. This doesn't mean much in case of doubt, since the first part stands entirely alone and has hardly any connections to the comic book original. Still, the current assumptions do point towards a clear direction. The second known clue relates less to the actual story, but rather to the way the film will be made. The plot is to be told as a musical. This was first reported in June of last year, when The Hollywood Reporter exclusively revealed the signing of Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn and the film's style. It seems surprising at first that they are not sticking to the successful concept of the first part and are instead trying a completely new approach. On second thought, however, the idea makes sense, as it retains the uniqueness of the first feature and creates a sequel that can also hold its own in the end. With Harley Quinn as the second protagonist, you also get a different perspective on the events. There are even rumors that the film will be told mostly from her perspective. So, making a musical out of the sequel is not as far-fetched as one might think, especially since director Todd Phillips and lead actress Lady Gaga have already collaborated on A Star is Born, and thus are experienced in making musical films. As for the cast, some information is already available. In addition to the obvious return of Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker and Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn, Arthur's neighbor Sophie will also make another appearance. The single mother will again be played by 31-year-old Zazie Beetz, and needless to say, we can't wait to find out how big her part is going to be in the upcoming film. Some other well-known actors have also joined the cast, including Harry Potter actor Brendan Gleeson, The Maze Runner actor Jacob Lofland, Get Out actress Catherine Keener, and Harry Lottie, who can currently be spotted alongside Christian Bale in the Netflix film The Pale Blue Eye. Sadly, it is not known yet which roles the actors are going to play, so patience is still needed in this regard. We will now take a closer look at a few theories that have been the subject of heated discussion among fans and critics for quite a while now. One of the biggest hopes of fans is that Bruce Wayne will be introduced in more detail in the second part, and that they will probably even hide clues to his later life as Batman. Since he is still a child in the first part, there would need to be a big time jump to show the Dark Knight in action. Besides, the Batman movie series with Robert Pattinson, which is also separate, coexists with Joker, which is why the idea of a Batman in Joker Folie Deux would not quite fit. Other people think that the title Folie Deux is not so much a reference to Harley Quinn, but that Arthur will have a son and pass on his mental disorder to him. Harley Quinn would still play a part. After all, it is her who gives birth to the Joker's child. Although this theory sounds very absurd at first, it actually originates from the comic Old Lady Harley, and Joker Jr. would later like to become just like his father. The third theory fits in well with the facts so far, which is why it is considered one of the more realistic ones. As we can clearly see at the end of the first film, the Joker gathers some followers around him, and it could thus be that one of these followers is trying to emulate their idol a little too much. As the film progresses, we would then have two Jokers competing with each other. Perhaps the clash between the two will even result in Arthur's defeat, which in turn could give way to a younger Joker. More of a wish than a theory is the adaptation of a storyline from Batman the Animated Series. In the episode Mad Love, you can see how the Joker breaks out of the Arkham Asylum with the help of Harley and then tries to kill Commissioner Gordon. This episode of the animated series is very popular, which is why many fans would love to see a similar storyline for Joker Folie Deux as well. However, there are no concrete indications of this. Even before the theatrical release of Joker in October 2019, director Todd Phillips talked about how he would gladly work on a sequel should it be a success. However, he later also pointed out that the film was originally intended to be a completely standalone film without the need for a sequel. Well, just a month later, The Hollywood Reporter claimed that a sequel was in the works, causing disagreements in the industry, as Deadline, in turn, asserted that their sources had affirmed that negotiations for a sequel had not yet begun. Much uncertainty eventually followed, and the pandemic that caused delays in the movie business all over the world also added to it, causing things to go quiet around Joker 2 for a while. Then, in the summer of 2022, it all happened fairly quickly. Director Todd Phillips officially announced the sequel, stating he and colleague Scott Silver had written the script and that the title would be Folie Deux. With an Instagram post, Phillips finally confirmed the start of filming on December 10th. The post features what is believed to be a scene from the film showing Arthur Fleck having a shave. We are already excited about the first trailer and look forward to the theatrical release on October 4th, 2024. And there you go. That was our original for Joker Folie Deux. Are you looking forward to the film? And what are your thoughts on it being made as a musical? Also, what are your expectations for the plot? Feel free to leave a comment below.